Our second speaker is Rich Hudson from Kron, a new sort of upstart actuarial firm that's doing quite well. And he's going to talk about a proposal that they developed for the multi-employer union marketplace, but not necessarily limited to that.
Correct. So as I said, I do work for Chiron. We were asked by the UFCW to analyze what's gone wrong with the pension funds of today and see if we could determine how we could develop a sustainable pension plan for the future of their participants. So the one thing that we focused on was risk. Traditionally, risk in any type of retirement plan is an all or nothing approach. You either put the investment risk on the participant or you put it on the employer. If you put it on the participant, they're usually just not capable enough of truly handling that risk. They're not professional money managers. They have day jobs that they need to go to and work. They're really not capable of handling that type of risk. In addition, the mortality risk that was talked about earlier is a tremendous risk when placed on a participant. You need to figure out when you're going to die, how much money are you going to need. It's just too much risk. If you have a pool of 1,000 people or more, that risk starts getting very, very minimal, and it's easily predictable. So mortality risk actually gets escalated when you move to a defined contribution plan. So what we wanted to do is analyze all the risks that were out there, look at historically what had happened, and if you go way back in time, actuaries used very conservative interest rates. And then times got good and investments started rolling and the actuary would move up the rate and they would start giving away benefit increases. And then before you know it, we're up to, assuming 8% returns, the market tanks, and now we got these significant underfunded plans. And when you try to either scale back the benefits that have been promised or you want to move back the interest rate, you end up with a lot of anxiety about the moving back of the interest rate, increase the liability, pulling back benefits. In the multi-employer world, it's a very political issue. So what we wanted to do is develop something that was more self-adjusting. If the plan is in place, it will operate, it runs, it does what it does, and it's outside the control, really, of the trustees, bargaining committees, and all the rest of the groups. So the plan that we came up with is the adjustable pension plan. So there is truly an app for everything, we believe.
This is a pension app?
Yes, the new retirement app. The first thing we do is sit down with an employer or committee and determine what level of contributions they feel comfortable with. If they're looking at moving from a defined benefit to a defined contribution plan, they're saying, we'll kick in 3% of comp or 6% of comp, whatever that number is. We then go back and we say, okay, we're going to look at this on an extremely conservative basis, much like the other plan that was just discussed. We're going to look at a 5% investment return, use up-to-date mortality tables, and we're going to figure out what an affordable, sustainable benefit is at those assumptions. So that gives you a very basic floor-level benefit that will provide a good safety net for everyone. On top of that, we then look at a self-adjusting portion, which looks at what the market returns in the portfolio have been over the years. And if we can beat the 5%, then we're going to increase benefits by the excess over the 5%. So that adjustable portion, which gets tracked by numbers of shares, will adjust up and down as the markets fluctuate year to year. So if the investments do really well, the benefits that are provided by the plan will increase over time. So the plan should stay roughly in that 100% funded. If the markets tank after a number of years and you've built up an adjustable portion, that adjustable portion will act as an economic shock absorber and reduce in benefits. So the plan giveth in good times and taketh in bad times. It's self-adjusting.
But not below the floor.
Right. The floor benefit will always be there. And that's the risk to the employer, is to make sure that over the long run, they can hit that 5%. And that's going to reduce the amount of risk that they want to take in the portfolio because they want to get 5, but they don't really need to get 8%. There's no true benefit to the employer of attaining 8%. but the participants would like to get, 6, 6.25, 6.5, something like that gets them an increasing benefit, and also allows the plan to develop some benefit to absorb any economic shocks to the system. At the end of the day, the adjustable pension plan, the app, will provide whatever the greater benefit is, either the floor benefit, which provides that minimum guarantee level, or the adjustable portion of the benefit. Just to give you an idea about the ability for this plan to go into effect, there is a group up in Boston who has recently moved away from a defined contribution plan and started a brand-new DB plan for their participants using this model. So we have kind of gone away from the trend of moving away from DB and into DC to moving participants away from a DC that wasn't working into a DB that we believe will work for those participants.